What you are about to discover will change the way you see the process of healing forever. A divorce is the end of a war, a grueling campaign of emotional, legal, and financial attrition. When the papers are finally signed, there is a ceasefire. The conflict is officially over. And now, the most critical phase of the entire operation begins: reconstruction. The rebuilding of a life, the healing of a psyche, the restoration of a sovereign self. But in the quiet aftermath of this war, many people make a single, devastating strategic error. An error born of habit, of loneliness, of a deep-seated human need for connection. It seems harmless, even helpful, but it is a psychological landmine that can sabotage the entire reconstruction effort, trapping you in a cycle of pain and preventing you from ever truly healing. This is the story of the one thing you must never do after a divorce. To understand this critical error, we must first analyze the battlefield. The end of a marriage leaves behind a landscape of emotional voids. The person who was the center of your logistical, social, and emotional universe is gone. This creates a vacuum. And human nature, like nature itself, abhors a vacuum. Our brains are hardwired for connection. They are pattern-matching machines. For years, your brain has operated on a specific set of patterns: the good morning text, the shared dinner, the presence of another person in the house. When these patterns are suddenly erased, the brain enters a state of high alert, of profound disorientation. It craves a return to normalcy. It desperately seeks to fill the void. And this desperation, this deep-seated psychological need to fill the emptiness, is what makes you vulnerable to the single greatest strategic mistake of the post-divorce phase. But this is where everything takes a turn. The mistake is not getting back out there too soon. It is not about a specific timeline. The mistake is far more insidious, more subtle. The mistake is attempting to fill the void left by your ex-partner with your ex-partner. It begins innocently. A text message to check in. A phone call to discuss a minor logistical issue that could have been an email. A lingering conversation after dropping off the kids. These are framed as acts of mature co-parenting, of staying friends. But they are often something else entirely. They are a subconscious attempt to maintain the old neural pathways, to get a small hit of the familiar pattern, to ease the profound discomfort of the void. You are not communicating. You are seeking a ghost. And what happened next shocked even the experts. From a neurological perspective, this behavior is catastrophic to the healing process. Think of your emotional bond to your ex-partner as a deeply ingrained neural superhighway in your brain. For years, all traffic flowed down this road. The divorce is a decision to permanently close that highway and build a new one. Every harmless text, every friendly phone call, is like sending a small construction vehicle back onto the closed road. It doesn't rebuild the highway, but it keeps the path from overgrowing. It prevents the brain from fully committing its resources to building the new path. You are not moving forward. You are caught in a state of neurological limbo, perpetually patching a road that is officially condemned. This is the point where the story becomes unbelievable. This low-grade, consistent contact does something even more dangerous. It keeps the emotional wound open and infected. It prevents the necessary psychological process of decoupling. Your identity remains entangled with theirs. You are still monitoring their life through social media. You are still seeking their validation, their opinion, their reaction. You are living in a state of emotional surveillance, both of them and of yourself through their perceived eyes. You are not co-parenting. You are coexisting in a phantom relationship. You have signed the peace treaty, but you are still sleeping in the trenches. But the real question is, why is this so hard to stop? And what is the correct strategic protocol? Here's where things get even more intense. The protocol is not about anger or animosity. It is a cold, clinical, and strategic necessity. The protocol is known as no contact, or in cases with children, low contact, high boundary communication. This is not a punishment. It is a quarantine, a medically necessary period of isolation to allow a deeply infected wound to finally heal. No contact means exactly that. Blocking their number, their social media, eliminating all avenues of communication that are not absolutely essential. For co-parents, it means creating a strict communications doctrine. All communication is restricted to a single, written platform, like a co-parenting app or email. The topics are limited exclusively to the logistical well-being of the children. There is no "how are you?" There is no "what did you do this weekend?" The communication is stripped of all emotion. It becomes a series of data transfers. It is the cold, boring, and utterly necessary language of a managed ceasefire. This will feel brutal. It will feel unnatural. Your brain will scream for the familiar pattern. But this is the surgery. This is the amputation of the gangrenous limb to save the body. This leads us to the climax, the moment of strategic victory. After a period of this strict protocol, weeks, months, however long it takes, something profound happens. The silence, which was once deafening, becomes peaceful. The closed highway in your brain finally begins to overgrow. The neurological resources are fully reallocated to building the new path, the new life, the new you. The void is not filled by a ghost. It is filled by you. You begin to hear your own thoughts again, uncolored by their potential reaction. You make decisions based solely on your own needs and desires. Your identity, which had been entangled for so long, becomes sovereign once more. The constant, low-grade inflammation of emotional surveillance subsides. The healing is not just emotional, it is biological. The cortisol levels that were kept elevated by the phantom relationship finally drop. Your nervous system comes out of its state of high alert. You begin to sleep deeper. You begin to live inside your own skin again. The greatest mistake you can make after a divorce is to believe that the person who was part of the problem can be part of the solution. They cannot. The healing process is a single-player mission. It is a journey you must take alone. The temptation to reach out, to maintain the ghost connection, is the most dangerous enemy on the battlefield of your own recovery. You must choose to let the war be over. You must choose to leave the trenches. You must enforce the ceasefire, not just legally, but neurologically. Because your future is not a place you can get to on a road that leads back to your past. And the truth is, this story isn't finished yet. The process of rebuilding a sovereign self is the most difficult and most rewarding operation of a lifetime. A continuous campaign of enforcing boundaries and choosing your own path, one day at a time.